Hey everyone, so is the Xbox Series X storage expansion card worth it? It's a lot of bucks. Look at this, £199 for this, and that's a 1 terabyte drive. You get free shipping, hooray! But is it worth it? What's it do? And why is it so darn expensive? Well, let's think about this. £199 for 1 terabyte storage. The Xbox Series X is $450. So it's almost 50% the cost of an Xbox Series X. Wow. What about compared to other SSD drives? What about if you had a USB SSD drive? Similar speed in theory, but going through the USB port, it's about half that price. So you are paying double the cost of a USB SSD drive to get this expansion card. Does it do anything magical? Well, it uses a specific slot on the back of the Xbox, and Microsoft say this will give you the same speed as the internal drive. Now, here's the thing that I don't like. You have no option to play certain games, but on the internal drive or this expansion card. So even if you have a fast SSD USB drive, you can't play certain games on it. So let me prove that to you. Let me just jump out of here and we'll go and find my games. So what I've got is I have storage on here. I have the internal drive and I also have more storage than that. But what I want to show you is this. Here's something that's sitting on my external super fast SSD USB drive. Flight Simulator. Check this out. Oh dear. And where I think this is naughty, and this is going to get worse, is if we have a little look at Manage Game and Add-ons. Any game that's optimized for the Series X or S will not run off of an external drive. So you have to move it on to the internal drive to play it. A further problem is that 1 terabyte of storage really isn't a lot anymore. When you look at the size of the games, particularly those optimized for Xbox Series S or X, so 131 gigs, GTA Online 101 gigs, Forza Horizon 5 100 gigs. There's Sniper Elite 5 that's just come out 80 gigs. Now there are some games that are a lot less, like Elden Ring. It's really nicely done at 49 gigs, but still many of them are going to fill up that 1 terabyte drive in seconds. So what are your options? If you buy the storage expansion card, that is the only option to increase the amount of games you can have on the Xbox Series X and play them all whenever you like. Okay, you don't have to transfer them over or do anything like that, but that's at the cost of £200 for 1 terabyte or £400 if you want 2 terabytes on top of the internal 1 terabyte drive. Your other option is to think about storage. Now, if you like games that aren't optimized for the Xbox Series X or S, so think old Xbox One games, there is some good news in that you can use either an SSD drive or a HDD drive using USB. Connect that up. It's got to be a USB 3 drive. And if you connect that up to the Xbox, like I've got here, I've got a USB SSD drive, I can move any games that I want onto there, but I can't play them unless they are those older games. And this is the kind of, I suppose, more wallet-friendly method of doing things. So what you could do is say, right, I'm going to have my core bank of games that I want to use. So let's just have a little look at my storage here. Here's my internal storage, so games I'm playing at the minute, like GTA Online, the Sniper Elite 5 and Elden Ring. And then other games that I'm not really that bothered about, I can move off to the other drive and say, do you know what, I'll move that elsewhere. So let's take, for example, Sid Meier's Pirates. I could say, do you know what, I don't need that on here at the minute. And if I hit the menu button, I can go Manage Game and Add-ons, and I can say, hit the menu button here as well, move or copy, and then select it, and it says it's going to move it from the internal storage to the external HD. And if I move selected, that will then move it. You'll also get an idea of transfer speed here. So this is USB 3 SSD drive, and you can see it transfers pretty quickly. Now, if you pick a HDD drive, they are cheaper than a SSD USB drive, but they will transfer slower, and the games will also load up a bit slower as well. But that just gives you an idea. You can see we've transferred nearly 2 gigs there in a matter of seconds, so it's not a big job to do that. In terms of setting these up, they're also really easy as well. If we go back into here, look at the manage section and then storage devices. When you plug in an external hard drive, you need to format it so it matches the drive sort of system of the Xbox, the operating system of the Xbox. So to do that, you'll go down to the drive, hit the menu button again on your controller and choose a format. And if you pick format, it will wipe the drive and it will also set it up so it's ready to use on the Xbox. When you've done that, you can also rename the drive. You can call it whatever you want, and then it's ready to move stuff onto it. And you can also see the contents on that drive once you've done all of that. So if we look at the contents, this is what's sitting on my drive at the minute. I'll just prove that you can play stuff off of here if it's an older game as well. So if we just go, for example, with Sid Meier's Pirates that we just did, you can see it's launching instantly, nice and quick. So older games, not a problem. That's what I really love about the Xbox is the backwards compatibility as well. That goes back to like the original Xbox, which is cool. It's like one of my favorite old games, that is. Anyway, so if we go back here, so that's your options really. So is it worth it? Is it not? I think it depends on how much bucks you've got. It annoys me that it's way over the odds of standard stuff, particularly when the Xbox Series X is pretty good value for money for the hardware that you've got in it. I think it's just a bit naughty that they're charging £200 to expand its storage, which really isn't that great. I think they should come with a 2 terabyte drive as standard anyway. But then you'd be talking at this price, that would end up being $650 for your Xbox and the storage. So I think if you can get away with it, keep your core games on here and add an external drive, either an SSD or a HDD, depending on how much bucks you've got. Plug that in, format it, and then just move your content around as you play. Really the people that are going to be more limited about that are people like me, where I play multiple games for YouTube. So I might add another drive, because sometimes I'm flicking between more than 10 games, just thinking about content and stuff. In my case, I might add that, but I do resent paying double the cost of a standard SSD drive. That's it, my friends. Let me know your thoughts on this. Are you going to get the storage expansion card? Do you think it's worth it? Do you think it's too expensive? What sort of price would you pay? Or are you going to go down the USB drive route? I'd love to know your thoughts.